Hello everybody, my name is Fireman and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another vlog. Thor! In this vlog we're going to be looking at some more stuff that I have purchased. So, starting off, we have a 6-foot finishing mower. I don't actually know the make of this, but we'll get on to where and how I purchased this thing, or this item. As I went. It does cut the grass pretty nice. I'm sure you can just make out there the grass that's been cut. Even in the wet weather it cuts alright. It could do with the belts tightening and probably the blades doing and a bit of a grease, but other than that it's pretty good. Next item is a tipping link box. Now I don't exactly know what link box this is. I don't know whether it's homemade or whatever, but we think it's we think it looks like a proper Fergie one, a big Fergie one. It may not be, but I don't actually know the story. There's no stickers, there's no nothing on it, so to be fair, I don't actually know what it could be or where it could be from, but this is the handle that you tip with. It releases this little latch there, and it's pivoted off them, or hinged off them 2 bolts on the side there. So you can scoop up, tip shit out of it, which is quite really handy, to be fair. Well, it has got a plate there with the numbers stamped on it, but I don't actually know what that means or anything like that. So we're going to be doing some code starts today. It isn't too cold; it's cold enough. So you may notice we have the Fordson Major back. Purchased that back about 2-3 weeks ago. So yeah, I saw it for sale for quite a long time, and I was umming and ahhing whether to buy it back. And then the bloke that was selling it, who I sold it to a dealer. And I saw the dealer's advert, and I was like, right, before this thing gets because the dealer was in Derby, which is not that far from Uttoxeter, and I thought, right, before this thing actually gets any further away from me, I'm going to buy it back. So I bought it back. It's had a top end rebuild, so the pistons and the head have been rebuilt. Hasn't had a full engine rebuild, so it does start a bit better, not incredibly better. It starts a lot better than it used to, but not all the way as it should. I've also gone through the effort of massacring this exhaust into here. I was fed up with this thing pouring like the black oil stuff everywhere, you know, the stuff you get when it's cold outside and the exhaust has got like water in it and stuff, and it would just go everywhere, and I got so fed up with it, we literally did just weld the exhaust into the manifold. Now looking at it now, it does seem quite a stupid idea, but at the time it was a quick fix solution, so I've done that to it. So this hasn't ran in probably about a week or two. So this is not the one we're going to cold start just yet. We're going to come back to that. These fell over then. So if you're wondering what it's holding up the telegraph poles for the pole barn, which has started, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And I have got a hedge cutter, which we will talk about in a minute. So coming to this is a Massey Ferguson 35. I don't know whether it's an X, I just know it's a 35. It has the 3-cylinder diesel in it. This came with the mower and the topper. I bought it all as one item. It looks a bit rough, it is a bit rough, but it is working. These LED headlights were temporary fix just because I needed to use it at night for a few jobs, so I've left them off. Did have a loader on, took the loader off for now, because the loader came right before where them fuel filters are, so I needed to work on it there. And all this stuff. So the story behind this tractor and that topper and link box over there is they were owned by a bloke. They were owned by a family, shall we say, and the son, who just lives just down the road from me, unfortunately took his own life. It's a bit of a horrible story, but that's all I'm going to go into. So that's what happened. So the tractor then went back to the family's mum and dad, and it was owned by the dad in the first place. This story is a bit confusing. It was owned by the dad, but the son used to use it, sort of thing. So they didn't know what to do with it. This Fergie and the link box and the mower, they didn't know what to do with it. They didn't want it, you know, it brought back too many bad memories for them and stuff. So I said, well, make your mind up on a price. So I paid 1,500, and to the ones of you that can do maths, I basically paid £500 for each item. So I bought this Massey Ferguson 35 3-cylinder for 500 quid. Basically, and it all works. Hydraulics work, everything. It could do with a hydraulics oil change. It's having a new radiator and fan belt because this rad is not the right one. I'll just lift the bonnet and show you. So yeah, it's a very sad story, and I'm going to do this tractor up kind of in memory of him. When the pole barn is built, I will do it up. So, as you can see, the radiator does not have a header tank or anything. It's not even the right radiator. I've got one ordered. Acorn Tractors did me a beautiful deal. So I've got radiator, fan belt, thermostat, hoses and clips coming for this thing tomorrow. So yeah, so it currently has just you just currently fill it up here and it just does what it wants. It is the 3-cylinder version, which is kind of the better one of the two. Now the gauges I know are wrong, so it has an amp meter and an oil pressure gauge. Now these are gauges that I bought for the David Brown, but I got 2 sets of them for some reason. So I've put them on this. They look quite nice. Has a temp gauge but doesn't work because there's no thermostat in it, so it doesn't read anything. There is a new clock coming, which I shall wind up to the hours, which are 4,000. I'll wind up to about 4,000 hours. I know that's probably not exact hours, but that's the hours the clock was on when it stopped. So yeah, the last thing to do on this is actually change the oil in the oil bath filter. The rest of it looks a bit grubby. It does need a clean, but it will be. It's also had a new exhaust because the one on it was awful, and it was just like a homemade jobby. So sorry if you can hear cornets playing. It's my dad's into classical music. So of course it has the traditional gearbox stop on it. The other thing about this tractor is it did used to have massive plates that used to come to about here, foot plates, and they were practical but didn't look the best, so they've come off. Loader, I'm still umming and ahhing whether to go back on. I have got to go pick the actual loader and the bucket up from next door, but whether it goes back on is another story. If I do it up, I think if I do it up, I will paint the loader and, you know, do it all properly. But until then, I don't quite know what I'm going to do. I've got a few things to fix, so the loader will only go back on if I need it. But I am tempted to just put the loader on, just simply because that's what the tractor had when I bought it. So. But I'm umming yet whether to do it. So it's got hydraulics that all work. So of course you can see them just gently lowering down now. Didn't have any wings when I bought it. Don't know. I think they rotted off a few years ago. It does have a pickup hitch though, but I don't have a Ferguson T-bar. I think you need to use one of them. So I don't have one of them, but I have a pickup hitch that I can't use. But other than that, enough rambling. Shall we fire it up now? This tractor is it's a bit gluggy when it starts, so it does kind of like misfire a bit, and it runs, but it is a bit rough, till it's warmed up. So get some rev, glow, which is that way, which is heating up the glow plug now, which runs on the fuel. Usually till you sort of see smoke coming out this end pipe here, that's kind of when it's hot enough. It doesn't always fire up first time. It is a bit slow. It will get rebuilt basically when I'm doing it. It will get rebuilt. You'll hear the fuel. You'll hear it ignite in a minute. So come on. Right, let's go for it. So yeah, a little bit rough, but it does fire up. It also has bloody good oil pressure on tick over as well. Just over 50 psi. Now the rattling is this top weather cap, because if you hold that still, it doesn't make any noise. But as you can hear, it kind of like it is a bit poppy and stuff, but that's just how it is. So as you can see, yeah, the fan, it wants a new fan belt and it wants it tightening. But also the dynamo sort of runs out of true with the fan, so it isn't the best, really. But yeah, it's really good. It has good oil pressure, charges as well. Charge is quite good. It also ticks over really nice as well. That's tick over. As it's cold, that is a bit mean to it, but you know. She is a bit poppy and bangy, but it is just what it is. Fuel filters were quite clean when I took them out. Oil filter wasn't so clean, so. But the hydraulics are pretty spot on, to be fair. Lift straight up, and they do go down. But the only problem is if you push them all the way down, they do lift back up. So you just got to remember that. But yeah, it's all pretty good. Right, we'll cold start the next one. I am going to properly let this thing have a run when I've finished cold starting everything. But currently that radiator doesn't let the bonnet shut all the way, so that's what that piece of rubber is. And also because there's a big thing that someone's added onto the battery, which I think goes to the alternator. But yeah, like I said, new clock and cable are on the way, so basically by next weekend it'll have all the gauges back in. So right, let's go cold start the next one. I don't know whether this Major's battery is going to be dead. It could well be. I can't leave this one running for very long because the shed's kind of got a hole in it somewhere, so all the exhaust smoke off this goes into the shed. So right, turn that off. Come round here. Both battery terminals should be on. Code star button in. Wiggle. Make sure this thing has actually got some battery. Yep. Give her a few revs. Reach over. Oh, it's always a good start when it does that. I'll be back in a second. Right, attempt number 2. That battery lead is quite loose, so I have to just see how well it does go. So as you can see, she fires straight up. If you remember, sorry, it's quite loud, so I'm having to shout. But if you remember when I used to have her, she did used to take ages and whine over and whine over and whine over and whine over, and it wouldn't start. So, you know, I think I did a pretty good job. 3 days it took me from start to finish to get the whole engine, not the whole engine strip, but the top end of the engine strip, pistons out, new pistons in sort of job. But now she runs great. So yeah, let her have a few minutes run. So yeah, story behind this one is it is gonna get done up. That I should say that 35 is gonna get restored, but I'm waiting for my pole barn to be done because that's when I'm gonna restore it, and after my international's finished. Because I think that tractor will be bloody good when it's restored. It's just at the moment it's a bit coffee. But it works, so, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. The hedge cutter here is a Hydro LR16. It's waiting for new cables. I'm kind of waiting till I get sort of Christmas money off family and stuff, because that's what's going to go into doing them up and getting the cables for it. The cables alone, the whole cables plus VAT and delivery was about 318 quid. So I'm still weighing up whether to just buy them or whether to just find somewhere that will do them for me. It needs new flails, but if you look down there, I don't know how well you can see that, but the hedge sort of just where it stops onto the garden, I hedge cut that, and I think that hedge cutter does pretty good for what it is. So I just need to finish the rest of it when it's done. Right, we'll turn this off. Like I said, I'm going to let all these have a run sort of after the video, because I've got so many of them to go through. I mean, at the moment I have 6 tractors. There's 3 here and 3 at my missus' house, so you know there's a fair few of them. Right, the big one, Ford 6610. This hasn't ran in about 2 weeks. It's also gone back to standard exhaust, which I think I mentioned that in the last video, or whatever video I did of it. So this is just waiting for another wing mirror because the glass fell out of it. It doesn't actually need a lot, so we'll climb back in. Woo! Now this has got a cold start button on the side. If any of you do own a 10 series, you will definitely know. You will definitely know about the cold start button. You basically pull a bit of the handle out and you can cold start it. So the plan with this is it's going to have priority in the shed kind of no matter what. So if there's no room in the inn, something's going out to get this in, because I'm fed up of this thing being outside and I love it. I don't want it to be outside any longer. So, but unfortunately the British weather is against us. After this I am going to dig another pole and hopefully concrete it in. So yeah, we'll get that done. That's kind of what that Major does, because it's got the front bull bar on. It's really, as daft as it sounds, it's really handy for holding the poles up whilst they dry, because it keeps it bang on level. Plan is I'm going to modify the bull bar I've got, not bull bar, sorry, nose cone guard, I should say, to the front of that 35, so that's got one. I kind of like them having them because it means if I hit something it's not a big deal, whereas when you don't have a cone on, a guard, when you hit something it just damages all the nose cone and it's just shit. So I'm going to find some way of modifying that one I've got to fit that. I have got one because it had a loader on, modifying that to sort of come with the bonnet, so when you open the bonnet it leans forward, sort of jobby, or make it on quick release pins or something like that. I don't know yet, but yeah. Right, enough talking. So key in, turn her on till the beeps come on. This has probably got charge light on. It, like I said, it hasn't ran in God knows how long. Right, and let's give her a bit of rev on the foot throttle and see what happens. Like that, straight up, as if she'd never been turned off. So you can see there's a bit of mould on it now and stuff. It's a real shame. I hate doing this to tractors. I hate leaving them outside, but I have, at my house it's very, I don't really have a shed yet because my brother's doing all his work in that one. The tractors can't really go in that one because there's more work in there. So the pole barn is the only way to get these sheltered. So that is the plan. So when that's done, these will be in. Some of the kit will go in as well. The topper and the mower are going to stay. The topper, the link box, the big mower are going to stay outside, but I'm going to sheet them up. I've got a 9-foot topper coming. That's going to get sheeted up because I've got plenty of lorry sheets somewhere. So the things that are going to go in is the baler to keep that dry. The woofler might go on eBay. I might sell that yet. I'm unsure because I've got so much stuff. I've got another load of hay kit in my girlfriend's. I've got kit everywhere. I have 6 tractors. I've got 6 tractors and just shitloads of kit. So I'm having a bit of a clear out. But yeah, I'm sorry that the videos haven't been coming out as thick as fast as I really wanted them to. I have been busy, like everything. So at work we've been on, like, released earlier from work, which is fine, but then when I get home I'm rushing to do the pole barn, and I don't really like recording with other people because I don't think they quite understand what I'm trying to do. So I like to record on my own because I get what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I've a different topic, but I just want to remember that 6-foot topper is going, and I've swapped it for a 9-foot one. For my paddock stuff, so this big girl will have a nice big one to sort out. When I restore the 35, depending on what I do, there may be some videos on it. The problem I have is I always forget to record stuff. Like I always fucking, either my GoPro's got no charging or I just straight up forget. So you know, it's a bit of a pain, but what can you do? But the plan with the pole barn is to have power in there and lights so I can run stuff. And then the Major is going to kind of go on the end here. This 6.6 will be in this end, and then there's going to be a rail. When we put the roof on and everything's in there's going to be a curtain rail with sheets. So the middle bay can be a restoring bay, or maybe even the end one, I don't know yet. Which means I can then restore tractors in there if I have any to restore. But it also means that, and I can strip them to basically skid units, repair them, so do all the seals, rebuild the engines and stuff, and then sandblast them and spray them without ever having to come out the shed. I can just get someone in to sandblast and then it's done. But that's the plan with that 35. That 35 probably this time in a couple years will look mint. Only problem is I've got to finish my 414 before that, and she's nearly on the point of having the engine running, but again I've got a David Brown there and I've got a Fordson Dexter there, and they take up so much time doing stuff, and you know, I will get there eventually. I just need to stop working on everything else. So The last bit of money to be spent is on that 35, is the radiator and stuff, because I want that to be good with coolant and not drain itself. And it pretty much had no water in when I bought it, so I've had to do all that and everything like that. So yeah, that's kind of the plan with that. But yeah, so anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully the next video won't be in a few million years before I get it out, but you never know with me. So thanks very much, thanks for watching, and goodbye.